Woo! You guys still blackpilling over there? What's going on? James Comey indicted today. No sound. Something's going on with my something's going on with the videos I'm playing. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Sorry to hear that, guys. I don't know why the video, you guys aren't hearing it because it's showing here. So I'm going to have to fix. But anyways, all right. I guess I can't play videos today. Bummer. All right. Great. That's just awesome. That's just awesome. Something's going on with my stream. Sorry about that, guys. Well, anyways, if you could tell by the graphics, even though there's no sound, James Comey was indicted today. Pretty crazy stuff. Very epic. This is what we've been waiting for, honestly. I mean, come on. Be honest. I mean, we've wanted this for a long time. We've wanted to see justice against the people who have kind of done everything to mess with us, right? I mean, this is evil we're dealing with. It's the far left, and they've been crazy, and everybody waiting. It's happening. I don't know what else to tell you. So we're going to talk about that tonight. But first, welcome to American Fire with Ace. This is a show, guys, where we break down what's going on following the Trump administration and its mission to get America back on track. It's more than just MAGA. This is for the soul of America. We are going for it. And this is the side of winning and why we have to win all the way, because we are in an existential battle of good versus evil. And this is the place where we talk about it. So welcome tonight. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe before we get going. Tonight, we're talking about Comey. We're talking about what's coming next. I think it's going to really ramp up from here. Don't think it's coincidence that Trump hit up Pam Bondi last week. And then this today gets Comey. I don't think that's coincidence. I really don't. And there's a lot more going on. I don't think it's coincidence either. But so saying that, let's say hey to everybody before we get started here. Shogun numero uno tonight. What's up, buddy? Yeah, it's a late stream. I had a lot going on. Vince, you're still up. Oh, man, what are you doing? Mike Mishler, what's going on? Alan Krantz, Cass Sink, CJ Yukon, BN Pro, Toe Cramp says just the start. I completely agree. Kim Wiley, AZ Tropic over there on Rumble. It's Cromer. I won't forget you, buddy. I won't forget you at all. Alan Krantz says FBI just dropped some on January 6th a few minutes ago. Oh, yeah. Don't worry, buddy. I got that, too. I got John Solomon all queued up. Unfortunately, my clips weren't given sound. So I got to figure out why the sound is not transferring. Because that's not okay. I'm not okay with that. I need my sound to transfer. But we'll get over to it. So let's get moving. Josh Appy, what's going on? He is up late. Lockup, what's going on, brother? I've been a bit. We got some good peeps up in here tonight. Oh, I know, Vince. I'm going to talk to that too. You guys are jumping the gun. So real quick, live crowd, since you're all watching. How does the mic sound? I've heard people have been saying I've been quiet lately, and now I'm having trouble with my clips, which I'm not okay with. But can you at least hear me okay? I worked on my sound a little bit tonight, so I wanted to make sure you guys are hearing me all right. Let me try something here. All right. Well, I'm just trying to make some adjustments, see if the sound will start working for the audio. But Mike's good. Excellent. Glad to hear it. MD, what's going on from Australia? Welcome. Uncle Andy in the house. CJ Yukon, good to see you. All right. Excellent. Okay, so Today, James Comey, the FBI director, when Trump came into office, that the left doesn't really love because he announced he was still investigating Hillary Clinton 10 days before the 2016 election, and they blame him for her loss, which is complete nonsense. She was going to lose anyways, but it did help maybe a hair that he made that critical mistake, announced it early. And then he obviously was a crook because he oversaw the FBI the whole time under Obama when they were lying about Trump setting up Russia. This guy is one of the most guilty out of the entire administration during the Obama years. And then Trump let him go. But so the left is no fan of him, although they love him obviously more than Trump. This is going to force them to really love him again now that Trump's going after him. But the guy's just a total crook. Earlier this year, walking on the beach, he sent out a message by saying, oh, look what I found on the beach. It said 8647. That's 86, kill. 86 is the name for kill. Also in restaurants, it's used to kill an order. 86 it. We're 86th. 86 a chicken. But 47 is the president. Coincidence? I think not. I don't think he just stumbled onto that. So that's yeah, that's who we're dealing with here. But they finally indicted him. Here's what we got. Catherine Herridge confirms count number 1, false statement. During a Judiciary Committee, he falsely stated to a U.S. Senator during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing that he, Comey, had not authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news report. Count number 2, obstruction. Congress did corruptly endeavor to influence, obstruct, and impede. And here it is right here. This is what is sent out from the grand jury. So this is official, and he's being called up on October 9th. Now, I got to show you something pretty crazy. What's up, Alice? No notification night. Well, that's always great. That's good stuff. Time for Gary Gensler to get indicted. I mean, that'd be great, but it wouldn't do much for us right now. Tokran, was it Comey that went after General Flynn for supposedly making false statements? It might have been. But Obama directly fired Flynn, so I can't remember Comey's involvement there to be certain. But here we go. Now this blew my mind. You guys know how I always tell you with the Q stuff, back when Q was huge between 2017 and 2020, I've extensively studied the Q stuff. It was too interesting not to study. And I'll tell you that one of the things that kept me interested in that it was important is that there's too many things in all the Q drops that are just impossible to ignore because they're statistically impossible. Well, here's another one. Today, September 25th, 2025, James Comey indicted. September 25th, 2020, Q posted a Twitter link saying this is worth remembering. This is the Twitter link posted by James Comey saying they never spied on Trump's campaign. It's a lie. September 25th, 2020, 5 years ago to the day, another Delta discovering Antifa being designated a domestic terrorist organization. That just happened 2 days ago. Antifa mapping began long ago. September 25th, 2020, judgment is coming. Someone will take the easy way out. And here are screenshots of the posts. This is crazy stuff. I can tell you, I don't know what to make of it. I honestly do not. I don't believe. I know these posts are legit because I know the people I follow on this stuff, they're legit. But what I can tell you is that I don't believe in time travel, so I don't believe they were like seeing into the future. But is it possible that they were setting dates to Delta ahead of time and then set it all up? I don't know. But this is wild right here. Here's the Twitter post from Comey. You see his name right there in the sharing. Worth remembering. Think what you now know. 5 years ago to the date. We have this other post down here. designate the KKK and Antifa terrorist organizations, founded financially legally backed organizations. We're going to talk about that in a second. DA set free blockade post-terrorist designate. Antifa mapping began long ago. And then what I really like, judgment is coming. I'm telling you, there's something interesting to all these, and I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Maybe we'll deep dive it some night on a members live, but this stuff has been tracking a lot over the last couple years. And so treason, no spying on the campaign, no tapping Trump's wires, just good people trying to protect America. And then today he's indicted 5 years to the day. Crazy stuff. And why should we indict him? Well, not just because of what I already said, but also because of this. So John Solomon shares tonight what's going. Oh yeah, Tocramp says some will take the easy way out as well. That was another Q post, 5 years to the day of today, which means basically they'll either off themselves or they'll squeal. So, but some of them means they'll off themselves. FBI bombshell, though. 274 agents were sent to the Capitol for J6. Many later complained they were political pawns. Now, why would 274 agents be sent to J6 unless they were expecting something? Just saying. Kind of interesting. Was it really just organized MAGA people getting together and just happened to turn it into a riot? Or was it a false flag? I don't know. You tell me. But for some reason, 274 agents were sent to the Capitol, but 10,000 National Guard that were asked for were denied. It's kind of weird stuff. We have Ray Epps, FBI agent, on video asking people or getting them ginned up to go into the Capitol. These people, this FBI was still completely corrupt. And the more we find out, the worse it gets. So I'm fascinated to see as this unwinds. But guys, this all started weeks ago with the Tulsi Gabbard stuff on Russia. That's where the drip started. But now we're starting to get the meat. We're starting to get the people. And this is going to just get better and better. Catalina O'Brien, welcome to the show, says, I was glad to hear the Comey news today. Amen, sister. So was I. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the show so far, please like and subscribe. If you're on X, hit that repost button. I greatly appreciate it. All right, let's keep it moving because I got a lot to go through tonight. So Trump posts this today. It's very interesting how this is all adding up. Lochtefeld says he wants Ray next. That would be great. All right, man, I'm bummed now I can't play this. I'm going to try in a second. We're going to try to get the sound working. But President Trump posted Obama should face justice for treason. They caught President Obama absolutely cold. What they did to this country in 2016, going all the way up to 2020, there should be very severe consequences. This is on Trump's Truth Social today. And let me try. I'm going to try. You guys let me know if you hear the sound on this, okay? But let me try to get the sound going. And I'm gonna test a couple things as it goes because I need to share my clips, man. I got clips. All right. So I can hear this. Can you guys hear it? Are you guys getting the sound on this? No sound. Awesome. What is happening? That's very obnoxious. I'm not gonna lie. It makes me not happy at all. I'm gonna try one more thing here. And all right, let me know if this works.
let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and
Can you hear it now?
Sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start after what they did to me. And
excellent. Okay, it was a setting.
Wrong, it's time to go after
it's a weird
people.
setting. They just updated my OBS studio. So, okay. All right, well. Good. All righty. Sometimes, man, it passes an update and it changes everything. It's super annoying. So, okay, let me play this whole clip because this is worth listening to. Just interesting that Trump did this today, and then they indicted Comey. So it's getting real, folks.
Absolutely cold. Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up to 2020 in the election. They tried to rig the election, and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level. So that's really the things you should be talking about. I know nothing about the other, but I think it's appropriate that they do go.
May I ask you about that, Mr. President? Tulsi Gabbard has submitted a criminal referral to the Department of Justice. From your perspective, who should the DOJ target as part of their investigation? What specific figures in the Obama administration?
Well, based on what I read, and I read pretty much what you read, it would be President Obama. He started it. And Biden was there with him, and Comey was there, and Clapper, the whole group was there. Brennan, they were all there in a room.
Oh, man.
Right here, this was the room. This is much more beautiful than it was then, but that's okay. I have nice pictures up. They came out of the vaults. They were in there for 100 years. This is much more beautiful. We have the Declaration of Independence now in the room, which wasn't here. I guess people didn't feel.
You guys hear the symbolism there? On the day Comey's indicted, they're in the room. Trump is in the room where they plotted it, and he's telling us that they got Obama on everything. And then he names Obama, Comey, who they indicted today, Clapper, Biden. This is interesting stuff. Very interesting. I don't think we're getting I don't think we're going to be disappointed, guys. I really don't. We're going to see arrests. I have zero doubt. I think the Charlie Kirk death accelerated everything. Trump's like, it's go time. No more messing around. You know when he says that thing about Hillary in the first term, there's two possible ways that make sense. Either we can take him directly at his word, and he knew that the 2016, that first term, that if going after Hillary, just the country wasn't ready for it, is basically why he says he didn't go for it. And then so maybe he just did, and then he changed his mind. That's possible. The other possibility is that knowing the country wasn't ready for it, and knowing we needed to go further along and actually see how bad things were going to get and be woken up more before going after everybody. I actually think that's more likely. And I think Trump is only telling us the part of the truth whenever he tells us that story. But in case you don't know why we should go after Obama, in case you were born under a rock and spent the last 10 years there, before Obama's presidency, the following did not exist. This is an excellent post by Terrence K. Williams here. Before Obama, there was no ISIS, no caliphate, no Black Lives Matter, no Antifa, no war on police. All that chaos started under his watch. He didn't stop it. He started it. Obama's the real divider in chief. America's paying the price. Biggest mistake he's ever made. It wasn't a mistake, though. He was the Manchurian candidate. And they put him, they set him up to destroy our country. And Trump is now undoing everything Obama did. He undid a lot of it in his first term. Obviously, they didn't get enough done. But now, after the Biden 4 years that just exposed so much about how awful these people are, and now that they know they're losing the worst they've ever been losing. They're losing power like crazy. They know it is time. It is time. They are like caged animals. They know it's getting worse and worse for them. They are starting to act out. This is why we're getting more shootings, just like the ICE shooting today. We're getting more shootings, Charlie Kirk, more violence, but they are losing power. That's why they're going nuts, because the left is freaking out. They know that we no longer listen to them. They've lost the power of the media. They've lost the power of hypnotizing the masses, and it's freaking them out. And now Trump is going after it. And so it makes me very happy. Johnny Strayhorn says, I want to see so many indictments they run out of lawyers. I love it. Cass Inc. says, I love all this winning. Now shut down the government. Oh, wait till I show you what Trump is planning with the government shutdown. It's going to make you very happy. Gensler and Fauci next to Stony Bones. Man, Rand Paul's really going after Fauci. I don't think they're going to go after Gensler anytime soon. Gensler's low man on the totem pole. Unfortunately, I know those of us in the markets would love to see that. But when it comes to the big stuff in the country, Gensler's small potatoes. But Fauci, that'll be cathartic for the nation for sure. LMI says Obama will never get to enjoy the Magnum PI estate. Robin's Nest, he corrupt. It'll be rightfully taken away from him. Amen. That's what I'm hoping for sure. All righty. Let's keep going.
Lastly, sir, this
is really ramping up. Okay, so remember that Q post where it said going after the financing? I think I had it right here. Defounded financially legally backed organizations. This is a double delta today from 5 years to the day. This is wild stuff, folks. Okay, so we already have the Delta Comey, and now we got Democrat-founded, financially legally backed organizations. Well, look what Trump signed today. We're going to play this one.
Lastly, sir, this is a presidential memorandum on countering domestic terrorism and organized political violence. In recent weeks, months, and years, we've seen a tremendous upsurge in some highly visible, but also other acts of domestic terrorism and organized political violence being perpetrated by radical, politically motivated groups all over the country. What this presidential memorandum will do is set off an administration-wide response to that, ranging from the Joint Terrorism Task Forces to other components of the Department of Justice, to the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Treasury. We're looking at interdicting these groups, preventing them from performing acts of violence, and also looking at sources of organization and funding and support that prop them up and allow them to do the acts that they have been doing.
We're looking at the funders of a lot of these groups. And,
looking at the funding.
When you see the signs, and they're all beautiful signs made professionally, these aren't your protesters that make the sign in their basement late in the evening because they really believe it. These are anarchists and agitators, professional anarchists and agitators, and they get hired by wealthy people, some of whom I know, I guess. I probably know them. And you wouldn't know it. You're at dinner with them, everything's nice, and then you find out that they funded millions of dollars to these lunatics.
Did you hear what he just said, along with the going after the funding part? That last part is very interesting. He said, these seem like nice people. You can be at dinner with them, and then you find out. That word right there. Do you know, when my theory on the Epstein stuff, and I've told you guys this before, but I'm going to reiterate it. It's that Trump hung out in these circles. He was a New York Democrat, but he was, old school Democrat, a Kennedy Democrat. He hung out with the Clintons, hung out with all of them, chummed out with the celebrities. He was one of them, except he wasn't. And he hung out with Epstein thinking that it was mostly just rich guys having fun. And then 2004 happens and he starts seeing what Epstein's doing in Mar-a-Lago, and it sickens him. And if you can almost track it to the day around that time, that's when Trump starts speaking out more. He gets a little more, and then he gets on Twitter. Then he starts going after Obama's birth certificate. Trump gets like radicalized to the right. This guy who'd been a Democrat his whole life. What do you think? I think it's pretty clear what happened. Trump didn't know. And then once he knew, he was so disgusted by it, it changed him. And he became committed to stopping it. All their corruption, all the disgusting things they do behind the scenes. I really believe that's how it went down. And we may never know the full story, but if you look at the timeline, that's how it looks. That's about the time he changed. And then, yes, he's been having dinners with Zuckerberg and all these other guys, Bill Gates. That's all in the last couple months. I mean, I think he's really, he's cozying up to these people but there's so much more going on behind the scenes than we know. LMI says Muslim Obama wanted to destroy the iconic piece of America from the 80s. Stony Bones, the snake eyes thing. I know that the snake eyes thing is crazy. Now, I don't. So for those who don't know, the movie Snake Eyes that came out in 1998 with Nicolas Cage took place on September 10th, I believe. And there was a person called Charles Kirkland who was shot in the neck. That's a wild, crazy coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but I could say this. I don't believe in any way they knew there'd be a guy, Charlie Kirk, they'd kill, 30 years later. But could somebody have seen that movie and used it to make that decision on the date they would do it? I mean, that's the kind of stuff I think is possible. So, anyways, let's keep moving. All right, this is what we get the government shutdown, which I'm rooting for because it's going to be politically awful for the Democrats. If they shut down the government, they're going to get so destroyed politically, and it's going to be amazing. People already hate the Democrats right now, but the stupid Democrats, they can't help but shoot themselves in the foot. They overreached, and instead of just fighting for healthcare subsidies, they decided to try to get the Republicans to agree to basically undo the vast majority of the One Big Beautiful Bill on the financial aspects. They wanted, and that's what their deal was. And the Republicans are holding their ground. Trump is saying, like, screw you guys, we don't care. And so what they do, Russ Vought comes out today and says the White House, if it shuts down, will use it as an opportunity for mass layoffs. In other words, they usually send people on furlough, and this time they're just going to lay them all off. It'll be the perfect excuse to downsize our government substantially. And so beautiful stuff. And so if you shut the government down, Trump fires bureaucrats, you keep it open, you cave to Trump, the Democrats cannot win right now. It says memo from the White House Office of Management and Budget directs agencies to consider firing employees working on any program not funded by another law, such as Republicans' One Big Beautiful Bill, enacted in July and does not align with the president's priorities. Once government funding is reinstated after a shutdown, agencies should revise their plans to keep only the smallest number of employees necessary to legally operate. It's incredible, guys. This is incredible. They are destroying the Democrats. And guys, we've already seen Trump accomplish more in this first 8 months than any president of the last 20, 30 years has done in their entire term. Okay. He is just crushing it. And honestly, it's just now ramping up. This is incredible. They won't give an inch. There is no playing the games. There is no sticking to the traditional play fair. It is destroy, destroy, destroy. And I am here for it. I am so here for it. So no matter what, and I'm telling you right now, the government's going to shut down. The Democrats think they're so desperate right now for a win. They know that if they cave, they're screwed. And they also so they're going to hope against hope that they can at least try to win the narrative a little bit if they shut it down and saying Trump's going to destroy your healthcare. He's killing your healthcare. Meanwhile, Trump's just comfy. He's comfy. And my hope now is because the Democrats asked for more instead of trying to wheel and deal. My hope is that they don't cave and they let this government stay shut down for weeks. I would absolutely love that because it will give them the excuse to just wipe out federal employees at a massive level. Because you can't, what's Congress going to say? How is a judge going to block that? Congress didn't fund the government. They keep blocking them on all these firings until the Supreme Court overrules them. You can't block this. Good luck. It's like they completely dug themselves a hole and given the Trump administration the opportunity to operate the government on only what's necessary, have all discretionary funding, go bye-bye for a certain period of time, which could also help decrease the deficit. And they basically get to streamline the government the way they want to. And I love this. It's just Trump smiling. Chuck Schumer is pissed. They are so screwed. And I've been watching Two-Way and other shows where they also, they have their token Democrat on. And even the Democrat strategists are like, we can't win this one. We can't. So, and listen, when they say government shutdown, do you guys want to know how much the government actually shuts down? Because there's mandatory spending, which never shuts down no matter what. And then there's discretionary spending, which is what the shutdown affects. And you guys want to guess? Does anybody know how much the discretionary spending of the government is? What percentage of the government actually shuts down in these? Because it's not that much. It's kind of shocking how little it shuts down. So when they say a government shutdown comes, it's not much. It's somewhere between like 20 and 30%. That's it. So 70% plus of our government stays open during these shutdowns. That's incredible. So yeah, it's not a real shutdown, but that's areas where we can save money and they can cut, get rid of these people. It's beautiful because the Senate has been really slow to pass rescission bills. They don't like to cut their spending. So here, give them an excuse just to do it. It's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Going back to the funding, Trump suggests he names George Soros and Reid Hoffman. Reid Hoffman, creator of LinkedIn, which is just the worst social media. I hate LinkedIn. But we all know about Soros. So they're under investigation, those two names, for funding left-wing terrorist groups. If they're funding these things, they're going to have problems because they're agitators and anarchists. So again, just that Delta, pretty crazy stuff. And I think it's, I think there are some tech guys on the left who are trying to make nice because they don't want to be completely destroyed. I think like Zuckerberg, he made nice. He gave up all the documentation, calling out the Biden administration, the pressure Facebook was under. Facebook has changed its policies since then. It's not as open as X, but they're not kicking people off anymore. And I think this stuff just it's so clear things are going on behind the scenes because of the way people are either capitulating or freaking out. That's all we're seeing right now. There is no in between. And so I guarantee you Trump's cutting deals for getting major things in return. And we're not going to know the extent of it for a long time, but it's definitely happening for sure. Okay, let me keep going. So this is interesting. Here's a nice little clip for all the people who are the Israel tards who think that Trump is completely controlled by Israel.
Did you promise leaders this week that you would not allow Israel to annex the West Bank? Is that something that you?
I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. No, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen.
Did you speak with Netanyahu about this directly?
Yeah, but I'm not going to allow it. Whether I spoke to him or not, I did. But I'm not allowing Israel to annex the West Bank. There's been enough. It's time to stop now, okay?
So the West Bank is the other place where the Palestinians live in Israel. There's Gaza and then there's the West Bank. And basically Trump saying that they won't allow Israel to annex the West Bank. That's him putting it out that, hey, you can't, like, Bibi don't run me. Then it's interesting he did this right now because there's a story circulating that actually Tucker Carlson started. I love Tucker. He does some great stuff. His 9/11 series that he just started is very interesting. But I think Tucker has gotten a little Israel tarded. And by the way, if you're new to my channel, Israel tard is when you've gotten to the point where you think Israel controls everything, like they're running the world somehow. On my channel, we don't go Israel tarded, but we also don't go Israel's perfect. We obviously know the Israeli government is a major issue and is often controlled by the globalists to help with their aims. So we're in the middle. We're in the middle on this channel, but you never go full Israel tard. That's, Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder said that. You never go full Israel tard. Tucker is close to full Israel tard at this point. It's a little disappointing. But he said this week that Bibi Netanyahu is going around telling people that he owns the U.S. government, he owns Trump. Well, then Trump says today, you're not annexing the West Bank. We won't allow it to happen. So there's definitely a PR war going on between these two. It's pretty fascinating, but I'll tell you 100% Trump's not controlled by Israel. 100%. We've gone through the evidence here. I don't need to rehash it. You guys can watch my old videos if you haven't seen it. But Stephen Cromer asked, did I get demonetized on Tuesday? Well, Tuesday was the day when Google announced they're no longer going to be censoring for political stuff. And so I was a little edgier on Tuesday. I tested the theory. And guess what? No demonetization. So that's a good sign. I hope it continues. Unfortunately, we've already seen a couple things. Alex Jones tried to reinstate his channel. It worked for a few hours and then was banned again. So that's not inspiring. Milo Yiannopoulos tried as well, could not get his channel back. Nick Fuentes tried to get his channel back, didn't work. So either YouTube has not fully changed their policy yet and they're working on their algorithm. They're going to go case by case, or they lied, or at least partially lied. We'll find out. I'll give it a little more time to see how it really works out, but we'll see how it plays out. But I can tell you, for me, stuff I talked about on Tuesday is stuff I usually would have been demonetized for, and I was not. So something at least has shifted a little bit. So there's that. LMI says Chuck E. Cheese Schumer can just leave already. A Crypt Keeper has been in office for 45 years. I know. He's like Biden. He's just a parasite. Or Bernie Sanders, who's never had a real job in his life, who worked part-time as a carpenter once, and other than that, got right into politics from a young man, became mayor of his town, stayed in politics, and now he wants to take everybody's money and as a socialist. That's how it works. You don't work, you want to take everybody else's money. So, yeah, too many of these people have been in Congress way too long. Here's Trump signed today, keeping TikTok. They're making TikTok American, 80% American controlled after this deal. And asked if he's going to change the algorithm to promote MAGA. Trump says, I always like MAGA related. If I could, I'd make 100% MAGA. If I could make 100%, I would. But everybody will be treated fairly, he says. So that's how it should be. We're Americans, but it would be fun for maybe a weekend or a month. Give us a month where TikTok's only MAGA. That'd be kind of fun. Here's my favorite thing of the day, though. This just cracked me up. And so I got to share share a great Trump moment with you guys.
Recently,
Jasmine Crockett. Remember what I said? Is she a relation to the late great Davy Crockett? I don't think so. Jasmine Crockett. Let me tell you before you even ask. She's a very low IQ person. I mean, if we ever had to pass an aptitude test, that's the one should take one because she shouldn't even be in the crowd. So I have no idea what you're going to. But I don't think we should waste our time. This is a low IQ person who I can't even believe is a congressperson. Between her and Ilman Omar and the group. You know, I met the head of Somalia. Did you know that? And I suggested that maybe he'd like to take her back, and he didn't want her. He said, "I don't want her." Okay, what else? Go ahead. You want? Let's hear what Crockett said. Go ahead.
She compared ICE raids to slave patrol. I want to ask you
To slave?
to slave patrol. I want to ask you if you think that there should be consequences.
Real quick, you see Kash's face here? Look at Kash Patel. He can't even believe what Trump's saying. He's just he's got his head in his face. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe this man.
Consequences for members of Congress who make these types of comparisons or use this
Yeah.
type of language.
Well, I think she's gone over the line, and I think a lot of the people. Look, the Democrats have become radical left lunatics.
My other favorite part, it's just so funny. But when he first says it right here, you can see. There it is, right about here.
And I suggested that maybe
You see this JD Vance right here?
he'd like to take her back, and he didn't want her. He said,
JD loses it. That's our vice president keeling over because Trump just crushes him so bad. So just the best. I can't tell you how much I love this administration. They are the best. They're so fun. What I love, every other administration, Democrat, Republican, all the cabinet secretaries, they bicker because they're all there just as their stepping stone to whatever they want to do next. Whether they want to go into the Senate or run for president, whatever it is, they're all just competing. This is the first time we've ever seen a cabinet where all of them get along. They're all mission-minded. They're all working together, and they legitimately enjoy each other. And that's why Trump actually lets them talk as well. It's great stuff. It's great stuff. Hey, and if you're in a good mood right now, take a second, hit that like for the show, please. It helps the algorithm. Listen, if you're on a mobile device, there's a new feature on YouTube that some of you have, which is called Hype. You can hype my video, which tells the YouTube algorithm to give it a little boost. So if it's free, if you have that option, please give the video a hype. I appreciate that as well. And if you're new, please subscribe. I think you'll like this content. If you're MAGA, if you're interested in defeating the left, you'll love this content as we continue to break down how Trump's just obliterating them. Okay, let's keep moving on. We got more, guys. We got more. Trump was busy today, man. Indicting Comey, defunding the left, making fun of Ilhan Omar, Jasmine Crockett. It's a lot of stuff. But listen, we got more. Tariffs. Big, beautiful tariffs. As Jerome Powell said yesterday, tariffs actually aren't impacting the economy negatively like we expected. That's interesting. All the experts said it would. Well, as we know, experts are dumb, or for you, Brett, they're retarded. We don't trust the experts here at American Fire, but we do trust Trump, and he seems to know what he's doing. So today they slapped 100% tariff on pharmaceutical products unless they're building their pharmaceutical manufacturing in America. Trump is getting it back. Starting October 1st, 2025, imposing 100% tariff on a branded or patented pharmaceutical product. There will therefore be no tariff on these ones building here. But guess what? He didn't just stop there. He tariffed a bunch of other things as well. And they're working so well, guys. Remember, the budget office came out the other day and said, we went from expecting a $3 trillion deficit if the one big beautiful bill was passed to now it's a $300 billion surplus over the next 10 years. Incredible stuff. And it's just more, we're just getting more and more news. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna do some popcorning. Got a few short stories to share with you guys. If you've been following this ICE shooter, the media is trying to spin it as now what they're doing is because they can't show that these people aren't lefties. The guy who killed Charlie Kirk, the guy who just shot up the ICE facility, they can't prove they're not lefties. So the new thing is, let's just say they're not part of anything. They're just crazies on their own. And now the left is shifting its narrative. They were trying to pin it on MAGA at first because the guy in Utah was from a Mormon family that voted Trump. They were trying to say like, oh, he's a conservative, which that fell apart really quick. And now this new guy, they don't have anything. And they're trying to push it as, oh, let's just talk about it. Everybody is just crazy. They're just operating on their own. This has nothing to do with leftist indoctrination. Well, unfortunately, it does. U.S. Attorney Larson confirms ICE Dallas shooter was a left-wing terrorist targeting ICE agents. Notes written on the assailant were found. He called the ICE employees people showing up to collect a dirty paycheck. He wrote he intended to maximize lethality against ICE personnel and to maximize property damage to the facility. He hoped to minimize collateral damage or injury to the detainees and any other innocent people. By the way, he killed detainees. That's it. He killed 2 or 3. I can't remember. It was 2 at first with 1 critically injured. I can't remember the 3rd guy died. But that's exactly what he killed. He missed the ICE agents. He hoped his actions would give ICE agents real terror of being gunned down. These are the notes they found. And then Jesse Waters reported tonight that they've raided his home and found a lot more left-leaning stuff. So guys, we have, and I mean, there's no both sides. The mass majority of violence in this country comes from the left. And it's because the left dehumanizes the right. They dehumanize. They don't play by the rules. This is law enforcement they're going after now. They call ICE the Gestapo. And they keep using these terms, historical terms, to justify killing, hurting, ignoring the laws. I mean, they're going further and further. And while that's only like maybe 15 to 25% of the Democratic Party, the problem is the other 80% of the Democratic Party justifies it and covers for them. And so even if the moderate Democrats are refusing to call out the problem, and that's why the entire Democratic Party right now is liable for all this. They're defending it, and they keep coming out and throwing out the language. Now, I know why the politicians do it, because they want this to keep happening. They want the Trump administration to be afraid and to be slowed down. And they don't care if it's violence. That's why they have no intention of toning it down. In fact, their new thing is to go around saying, well, if Trump's not toning it down, it's his responsibility. The ultimate victim mentality. Now, the people in charge of the Democratic Party, they're not actually victims. They know what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose. They are psyoping everybody on their side to basically say, we can't control ourselves. We don't have to take responsibility for ourselves. If Donald Trump keeps being Donald Trump, well, we can't stop. And that's what they're secretly saying when they say that. The rest of the left, though, who they are talking to, are people who actually have that victim mentality and truly don't know how to take responsibility because they've never been taught. They were raised little snowflakes who everything in life that's wrong is all about the system, and you never take responsibility. That's what the far left teaches. That's why they're communists. That's Karl Marx's teachings right there. It's always the system is the problem. The system's always a problem. No personal responsibility. And so that's who we cannot unify with. And again, I say it all the time, we do not condone any violence, but we have to destroy these people in every other way, legally. Defund them, cancel them, not in an anti-free speech way, but by pulling our money from them. We get to speak with our free speech to their free speech, and our money to their money. That's capitalism. So that's what we do. We stick to our principles and we defeat them without changing our principles. But we do not reach across the aisle. We don't. We can be like Erica Kirk and we can forgive, which is getting rid of our desire for revenge. But revenge and justice are not the same thing. We can absolutely desire justice and fight against injustice without falling into hate. And that's the tricky line to toe, but that's the line we can do. And if you watched the members live last night, I laid out the biblical grounds for fighting like this, for not seeking unity. It's completely within the faith, and I think Christianity in this country has been too weak-willed for too long. But guys, this is an enemy. They will never come to our side. We have to stop them. And I'm so glad we have a president willing to do that. And his whole team is as well. Harmeet Dillon, who's doing an excellent job as the Assistant Attorney General and in charge of the Civil Rights Division, is currently suing 6 states for not giving the voter rolls. Guys, we are weeding out the fraud. These 6 states, California, Michigan, Minnesota, New York, New Hampshire, and Pennsylvania, are hiding their voter rolls from the federal government, and we are now suing them. So we are attacking them from every angle. No more. We're refusing to allow elections to be stolen. We're refusing to allow them to keep funding the riots, the protests, the indoctrination. And what are we seeing? It's incredible. As this is all falling apart, all this corruption and all the pressures being put on it, the Democratic Party is flailing like they've never flailed before, and it's because they're losing their power. The government, they were using the government to prop themselves up, using it to hide their corruption, using it to enrich themselves, and using it to guard their power in the most anti-democratic way possible. And we're weeding it out from every stinking angle. And this is why we have to do it. Pam Bondi came out today and revealed a DOJ investigation proving the Biden administration aided child sex traffickers. We already knew they lost over 300,000 kids across the border. We know exactly why they allowed the borders to be open. There's a number of reasons, but voter fraud, human trafficking are 2 of the top 2 reasons, among others. But now they have the money. They're tracking the money. Allowed $7 million to a trafficker who profited a staggering $18 million from smuggling children into the United States. Absolutely disgusting. These are the people in charge in the Democratic Party are the worst of the worst. And they used to have a lot of them in the Republican Party too. But thankfully, most of them have been weeded out the last decade. Still a few left, but MAGA's taken over the Republican Party and we're not going back. Cass Singh says Gutfeld destroyed Jessica Tarlov about the narrative on the 5 today. Yeah, he's been crushing her. It's been great to see. Johnny Strayhorn says responsibility and accountability are why they hate our Constitution and the Bible. Absolutely. That's a great point, Strayhorn. Toe Cramp, the hunters have become the hunted. Oh, yeah. And it's not going to stop. And this is one of the big stories of the day that we don't know quite what's going on here, but we can speculate. Pete Hegseth today ordered an urgent gathering of hundreds of generals and admirals in the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, and Marine Corps in Quantico, Virginia next week. Reason is unknown. Guys, he has called in all these leaders from around the world, asking them to leave their posts and come meet in person next week. This is massive. I've heard it might be 800 of them. It's in our entire military is bringing them forward. I'm telling you. So this has not happened in decades. I can't remember the last time it happened, but it's been decades, and it was always in major wartime operations. There's only one of two reasons it's going to happen. Here they're speculating mass firings of woke generals. I'll tell you why I don't think that's it. Because we have a lot of alert going on in the world right now. Because of the tensions, Russia, Ukraine, the Middle East, and we're trying to stay out of it, but we also have to be prepared. The tensions that are going on with the financial stuff could cause instability because of the tariffs, so on and so forth. So if this is being called together, I don't think it's just to fire people. I really don't. There's another process to fire. You don't do it all at once. You don't want to destabilize our military. What you do call them together for is to have an eye-to-eye, face-to-face conversation about an operation, about a new stance or something to look out for the entire military. If this is something they didn't feel could be done over Zoom, over a phone call, it's important. It's lining up with last weekend, Trump calling out Pam Bondi saying, hey, it's time to get things going. Comey gets indicted today. This same day, they call together the largest meeting in our military since World War II. Thanks for that, Alan Krentz. I see you there. I saw it. World War II is the last time this happened. Guys, this is going to be big. Something big's going to happen here. And I'm going to be very interested to see how they play it, because they might act as if it's just some big photo op. And we haven't brought the military together in so long, kind of like Trump's military parade back that ended the riots. Remember that back in June? So what are they going to do here? I think it might look like one thing, but actually be another, just like Trump's parade. That parade was not just, we're having a military parade to celebrate the military. No, that was a parade saying, we're on the streets. I am the commander-in-chief. You will not be rioting on my watch. And what happened the rest of the summer? No riots. Pretty incredible stuff. So we'll be seeing what happens with this. I'll be following it very closely, because I think this is going to be extremely, extremely interesting. Tokram says, this is a secret plan. Either play ball or get the F out. Brett Montgomery says, I hope this meeting will push the price of model glue up. What do you think of this stuff? Is that so it's more expensive so you can't sniff it as easily? Anyways, if you guys are enjoying the content, real quick, just take a second, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you're new. I appreciate you. And you're going to want to hit notifications if you haven't already, because we're going to be covering this next week. Are you kidding me? Do you want to miss this when I do a video on this when it's happening? No, you're not going to want to miss that one. So pay attention. All right. Couple last things just to show you what we're up against. Not as important, but just, this study was circulating today, which is insane. Peer-reviewed paper in the American Sociological Association journal, Sex and Sexualities, calls for the elimination of the idea of childhood sexual innocence and the social ethical taboos against children engaging in sex acts. I'm not going to read the rest, but guys, you can see this is coming out from our institutions. Absolutely disgusting. And why do I show it to you guys? Because just a reminder, this is how, when people go this far, they are sacrificing their humanity. They've already given it up. And they could come back, but they can't come back just by being talked to. So again, if your pastor is telling you it's time to reach across the aisle, show them this and be like, how? If you're listening to some milquetoast Republican saying Trump needs to be bridging the gap with the far left, read this and be like, how How do we have anything in common with these people? Like, this is as sick as it gets, and this is our institutions controlled by the left. And here's one of them talking to Pete Hegseth.
Because if it were, you would be keeping these women in. Instead, you are the one injecting culture wars into the military, and it's at the detriment of our military.
Look at her crazy face. I'm sorry. Not to make fun of somebody's looks, but this is the kind of crazy eyes that you don't just get just because you're born that way. You got the wild eyes. She's got the little snarl smile. It's because she knows how insane she's being. She's even got the witch nose, but just this stuff, she's talking about, to call into Pete Hegseth about his policy to get the trans out of the military.
Readiness and national security. Now, General Kane, I'd like to turn to you.
So to be clear, these are men who think they're women.
These are women. I'm happy to educate you on
But these are men.
on trans
and so
issues at another
what we've
time.
identified is that there's mental health issues with that belief system.
I'd like to turn to General
are
Kane
detrimental
now.
to readiness, and that's the determination that we've made and that we stand behind. Gender dysphoria.
And so you don't,
complications.
because if it were,
Love it. He calls it a mental illness, and that's exactly what it is. But again, how do you unify with somebody like this? Somebody who's so far gone. It's like, you kicked women out of the military. You mean men that dressed up as women? Well, I'll educate you on it. They can't hear us. They have no intention of hearing us. Do you see the arrogant smile? She thinks Pete Hegseth is an idiot because she's been indoctrinated her entire life to believe the craziness, to throw out all critical thinking and just be fed the narrative. And honestly, it's sad because at one point she was an innocent little girl, and these are humans. Okay. These are humans, but they're corrupted by their belief systems. They're corrupted by being just, whether it was her parents or a college professor or whoever got to this girl and just ruined her. It's honestly very sad, but at the same time, as sad as it is, she's an adult now who has an opportunity to make choices. And guess what? Somebody this far gone cannot grow, cannot learn, cannot be woken up without consequences. And so this whole notion that especially after Charlie died, that we can reach across the aisle and just talk to these people and maybe they'll listen to us and maybe we can all find common ground and act as if there can't be consequences for being psychopathic. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. This person and the far left, which again is like 25% of the Democratic Party, they're so far gone. They're like this. They have mental illness. They have chosen this. They have an addiction. They act like addicts, but their addiction is the message, the ideas of whatever their cause is, whether it's global warming, the earth, saving the earth at the expense of humankind, transing the kids, whatever it is, whatever they've been indoctrinated to believe is more important than human life, aborting babies. I mean, they've lost it. And it's because they were born and live in comfort and have never really struggled, never faced real issues. And so they create fake issues, and that becomes their entire life. And then they become this, where they lose all critical thinking ability, and yet they think they're the smart ones. Look at the face there. It's so demeaning. It's so like belittling. She's talking to the Secretary of War. Used to be Defense, but Secretary of War sounds cooler. It's like God of War, the game. I love that game. But Secretary of War, one of the highest ranking officials in the United States, nominated by the president, confirmed by the Senate, big deal, runs our military. And she's talking to him like he's a little child. This girl who's maybe, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s, just gone. There is no unity with someone like this. You can't love this person and be nice to this person to find common ground. No, you have to tell them their ideas are stupid and send them into a tizzy so they actually, and then they face again and again the consequences of their belief system. You cannot accommodate them. It doesn't mean be violent. We don't be violent. We don't be mean. I mean, if you got to be tough, you can be a little mean. Okay, that's not what I mean. You're not like being mean on purpose. Like, we're not trying to tear her down, but we are tearing down their ideas. And that needs to be done. And they need to see how easily they can be destroyed, their ideas, their stupidity. And then they got to see how these ideas cannot lead to success. And so they cannot be hired by us. They cannot be accommodated by us in any way that promotes them to live that lie. And honestly, that's real love, folks. If my kids, if I give them everything when they're acting terribly, you know what that turns into? They turn into spoiled brats. Now, you introduce discipline, you introduce consequences. And you have to do the same. And we have a sickness in our country right now. We have a sickness where a huge deal of our people have lost their damn minds. And it's perpetrated by the left. And it's condoned by the left, defended by the left. And they've created crazy people. And you just can't unify with that. Do you put her in the retard crowd? Asked Brett. I would say so. Lochfeld says, I'm saying 15 to 20% of the left is batshit crazy. Yeah, I am. And they know it and they want it that way because they have created, but that's the thing. They're creating their own demise because as that group, that they just eat their own. They've created a monster they can't control. So, liberal trust fund baby, probably. Hegseth is way smarter than. Oh yeah, he's brilliant. All right, a couple last things here. So Epstein estate, the estate. I don't know who's running that estate, but handed over 8,000 documents to Congress today, including unredacted calendars and cash ledgers. So probably won't be anything too interesting, but this is coming more and more out. It says this follows the release of Epstein's birthday book containing letters from Clinton Dershowitz and disturbing note claiming he works for the CIA. We just had the James O'Keefe report. So more and more Epstein stuff coming out. I believe it's going to keep going, and all is going to be revealed in the next few months. I really do believe that. I believe the House is going to get their hands on it. They've already committed to releasing it. They're going to release it. Trump will be exonerated and a bunch of other people won't be, and they're going to regret that they did this. They're falling into the trap, and that's where we're headed. And then finally, I wanted to share this post from Tom Luongo, as I think it's important. So as many of you guys know or paid attention, I didn't cover it, but Trump posted the other day this odd post about Ukraine and about how Ukraine can get all its territory back from Russia, and that we will provide the weapons, but they have to pay for them to NATO. It was very odd because it was complete turnaround from where he's been. And so I've done a lot of thinking about this, and I came to the conclusion that I think makes the most sense. Trump did not say we're going to fight the war. Trump did not say we're going to go after Russia. What he said was exactly what we're already doing, which is we've been allowing NATO to buy weapons from us. So nothing changed in that post except for the tone. And what I think that post was, and we got all the libertarians are out there freaking out like, oh, no, Trump's getting into the forever war with Russia, blah, blah, blah. I just knew this was going to happen. He's a warmonger like the rest of them. Libertarians are so exhausting. They can't think straight. They like, and I don't mean all of them. We got a couple good ones, but a lot of them. It's like, it drives me nuts. But that's what the reaction to the post was. But that's nowhere in there. And if you really read the post, what it actually is saying is Trump's doing this. He's washing his hands of it. He's being Pontius Pilate. He's basically saying, okay, Russia, you won't make a deal? fine. I'll cheer on this other side because we're already providing them weapons. I'll just tell them your deal. But here's what it wasn't in that is very important. Trump isn't. He's been mad at the Europeans because while they're cheering on Ukraine fighting the war, they're not providing support, and they're also continuing to import Russian oil. So they're paying Russia billions of dollars regularly for the oil because they need oil because Europe dried up its own stuff. They don't produce anything anymore. So they're calling Russia the devil while buying their oil. So that's number one, which is ridiculous, which is why Trump won't issue sanctions, because what's the point? Europe's going to continue funding Russia anyways. So Trump's basically, he said, I've done everything I can. This is your war, guys. If you want to buy weapons, buy them. But that's it. We're done. He put Putin on notice, calling Russia a paper tiger, basically saying, Putin, you done effed up. I'm done. I tried with you. But he's also told NATO, it's your problem, guys, not ours. Go have at it. You guys wanted this war. You guys go do it. This is the worst case scenario for them. You could argue it's even worse than the war ending because now they're stuck with it. It's almost exactly like what Trump did with the layoffs they just announced with the government shutdown. He trapped them between a rock and a hard place. And Tom Luongo writes this today, and I thought it was just so perfect. He says, Trump has been setting this table for the entire year. He's pursued a very clear agenda, confounded his critics because so few of them are as smart or wise as they think they are. Well, we all know that. He put the neocons in their corner, rattle in hand, stripping them of much of their political capital, even while at times looking like he played their game, like with Iran. It looked very much like it was going to be another neocon war. Get us involved. Oh no, everybody freaking out. Trump was getting us into war now. This is not what he ran on, blah, blah, blah. But what did he do? He attacked their nuke facility, blasted it out, no casualties. And guess what happened? Now Israel can't tell us, oh, Iran's got nukes, you guys need to go in. Nope, that's set back years now. The neocons now no longer have a reason for us to go in and get into war with Iran. He took it off the table. So the globalists and the neocons can't force us into it anymore. So God, he played it perfect. And so that's where he stripped them of much of their political capital. And he's been ending other wars as well. The best way to invalidate your opponent's leverage is to expose who they really are. And that's exactly what he's been doing. That's Trump's superpower. It always has been. Now Europe has no choice but to fight a war they can't win with weapons they can't afford, with soldiers they don't have any desire to fight for their leaders. This is a recipe for the most epic failure in modern history, and all he has to do is sit back and shake his head. They're gonna ruin themselves as a part of this. And so I think one or two things are going to happen in the next few months. Ukraine's either going to find out because the European nations are going to find out they can't really keep fighting this war. So Ukraine at some point is going to have to just surrender. And that's going to bring an end to the war. So pretty incredible stuff. We'll wait and see if it plays out the way I think it will. But I think that's what's going to happen. And it makes perfect sense here. And I'm glad I'm not the only one who saw it that way. Johnny Strayhorn says Europe's stuck in a what would Biden do mode. Right? Alan Kretz says weep what you sow. I like that. MD, Trump wants peace, not violence. Amen to that. Let's see here. We got Dry Tit. What's up? Weather Channel co-founder John Coleman publicly dismissed climate change's later career, calling it a hoax, a scam, denying significant human-caused global warming. Absolutely. In fact, Dry, you probably like the video I did earlier this summer about the bombshell report blowing up the whole climate scam delivered by our Department of Energy that nobody covered. It was dropped in June or July, dropped in July. Nobody covered it. As far as I know, I'm the only channel that covered it. We went through it and just massive report. And it's crazy, but yeah, the Trump administration knows that for sure. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Listen, we are winning and winning hard. The indictments have started, which means the arrests are coming soon. Trump is not toning it down. The language is coming out. We're seeing just the wildest, everything's pointing in a wild direction. The Pete Hegseth stuff, the Q drops that are crazy because it's 5 years to the day with the Comey stuff, the defunding of leftist groups. I mean, the Charlie Kirk thing did not backtrack it. It did not stop the momentum of MAGA. It accelerated it. And that's where God brings amazing goodness to terrible events, just like he promised in Romans 8:28. So listen, love you guys. God bless you. And we're winning so hard. So I might do a weekend show if there's enough news. We'll see. If not, I'll see you guys Sunday night. And we need to pray. We need to always pray because Lord knows our country needs it. I see California Human over there gifting memberships. Thank you so much, California Human, for that. That's a blessing to the show. I greatly appreciate your generosity. And so if you guys are members, you can watch last night's Members Live, which I got great feedback on. And you can watch every other Members Live going backwards. And yeah, welcome to the membership. Thank you so much for the support of this channel. You guys are awesome. And before you go tonight, please take a second on the way out, hit that like button, hit that hype button if you don't mind. I would greatly appreciate that. If you're on mobile, shoot it out there. And yeah, a little boost for my channel. And if you're new, subscribe. I would really appreciate the subscription. And yeah, I think you guys will like it here. So anyways, let's end in a prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you. Gosh, it's so good to see justice finally starting to happen. I pray the Comey indictment is truly just the very tip of the iceberg of all this coming out. And I thank you so much that we have godly men and women, God, serving and leading our nation right now. And I thank you that we're waking up. It is incredible to see. So God, I just pray that your fire of the Spirit, Lord, and just the awakening just continues to spread. Wake up this country, Lord, so that we are dedicated to winning and changing our country and leading our country and not just letting the currents come against us. So we pray for protection, wisdom, and boldness for Trump and his team. And God, I just bless everybody in this chat. Be with them, Lord. Help them with whatever they need and comfort them. And God, just I pray everybody can continue to have their eyes open to see how you're working for good in all of this. In Jesus' name, amen. Love you guys. Bless you. Have a great night. Good night. Rumble, X, YouTube. If major news happens, I might see you tomorrow or Saturday. Otherwise, see you guys Sunday night. Have a wonderful weekend. Go now.